Good day, everybody. You're watching Beyond the Test Drive, and today, or this week, we've been driving Toyota's GR86. There really is not much I can say about this car from a performance standpoint, from its trackability. This has just kind of become a legend since it came out redesigned in 2022. And you're going to hear me talk about the Miata a lot today because we always get those comparisons between this and the Miata, and we have a Miata tomorrow for a week, and always the question is, which one should you get? However, what I want to focus on today is just livability, daily drivability. And I have to be honest, I was skeptical, and after living with this a week, you don't really have to watch any other parts of this video today other than, yes, this is very, very livable. It can definitely be your single car. Now we have sort of what I would call the sweet spot. This is exactly how I would spec this in this Trueno Blu color. This is in the premium trim. I'll show up here on the right all the goodies that the premium comes with, but this also has the performance package with the Sachs dampers, and we also have the Brembo front and rear calipers, and we have larger rotors on the front and back. Also, we also have summer Michelin Pilot Sports for really good summer driving. So this thing's kind of track ready out of the box. You probably just want to get yourself some track tires. If you go down to sort of what I would call the base trim, you know, that's really for somebody who's really going to kit it out on their own and modify it. It's kind of a regular car. There's nothing, it doesn't draw attention. You know, a younger crowd will see this and go, yep, they get what this is. But that silhouette is just ideal. And when you do hang out with this car for a while, you just really appreciate all the little sculpting they've done with these wide hips back here. You know, the real aero they got going on down there with the vents. So just a really, really handsome shape. Even little things on this, like just getting into the trunk, which is actually pretty useful. They got the button right there. How easy is that? And you do get a decent, you know, for this tiny little car, it's get a decent trunk. You can put a spare back here if you want. Right now there is not, but you can always get a small, you know, donut spare for an emergency. But you do get this trunk, and gonna kind of spoil the punchline. You already know this. Just squeeze in here. I can put that down. Now look at this. Yes, that is immensely practical. So you already kind of knew that if you follow the GR86, but that is, you can't say. Now these back rear seats are, well, you can put a car seat back here. I've seen people put that seat all the way up front, put the kid on the other side, but for two people, perfect, because you got plenty of room to throw your junk in the back. It's a 2.4 liter boxer sitting way down low. Really nice looking engine compartment. It doesn't look too crazy. I do like how everything that you're supposed to check as the owner has a yellow cap. It's very well marked, easy to change the oil in these Subaru flat fours. So yeah, nice engine compartment. Again, the thing here is that since it is a Toyota engine with Subaru, it also has port injection in addition to the direct injection, so any valve deposit issues, Toyota's taking care of you. 228 horsepower, 180-ish pound-feet of torque. However, when you drive it, this thing pulls from every RPM. I think it pulls great. It seems like it has a lot more torque than it does. No turbochargers, nothing crazy. Got the transmission with the drive shaft going to the rear wheels. Automotive purity. Oh my gosh, this is so hot. Yes, you do drop down low in this car, but once you get into it, it feels like you're sitting in a normal car. There's plenty of room down in the foot box. There's plenty of room for your two, you know, for two of you to sit in here and space out a little bit. It just feels like a normal car. I'll mention the Miata again. Again, we're gonna have that next week, but that's not the feeling you get in a Miata. You feel like you're wearing that thing. When you sit in here, you know, a lot has been made over these cup holders. You do have your two USB-A's here. I don't use those for cup holders. As you can see, I've been using these side pockets right here for cup holders. They work out pretty good. So as far as a cup holder situation, this is pretty much storage. Down here, you do have heated seats in this premium trim. You do have your traction control off. You do have a track mode, which will change the speedometer. It'll do some tracky things with the stability control. Turn that off for you for track. Now let me go ahead and start this up. Again, everybody has seen this Boxer startup. But I'll tell you, a lot of car interiors should take a note on this one, because again, everything is simple. It works. Like, let's just take the climate controls down here. We have dual zone climate, big meaty knobs, cool red numbers, just easy to use. You got these nice little cool toggles down here. I mean, how cool is that? It just, you know, put it back on auto, it just does that. It's real easy to use. The infotainment has got some criticism that it's ancient. I don't care. It works. I don't have Apple CarPlay hooked up now, but I will. Yeah, so if I were gonna complain about the interior, when you got a small interior like this, it would be nice if this were wireless Apple CarPlay, and then you would need some place to charge your phone. So I think when you get a small interior, it's just nice to get in, put your phone away, and drive. So I don't know what's going on in this area. It just seems like they could have put some of this stuff down in this area. There's plenty of room for some more buttons, get rid of these heated seats, and then you would have some room for either a wireless charger, maybe a cup holder or two there. Everything else you touch in here is pretty good for the price point. Everything is low glare. Again, intended, this has a track purpose. Things like your window switches, they just fall nice to hand. Your armrest over here feels good. It just, you know, it's really surprising how not only is this a good interior for a small sports car, this is a good interior for any car. Again, the simplicity of it, things like this feel good. Simple instrumentation. You got your tachometer, you got your digital speedometer. That's all you need. It's really all you need. This car just demonstrates how out of control cars have become as far as complexity. So this is kind of tailored for a younger crowd, but this is kind of what the older generation needs in their bigger sedans and SUVs. Just simplicity. Let's get her go. Oh, let me do a little bit of a horn check. All right, that's okay. That's okay. Not gonna brag about that horn. Okay, so we do have steerable grids on the backup camera. That's pretty nice. Again, part of the practicality of this GR86. We have the 6-speed manual. You do have to get it in reverse. It is a ring up and then over into reverse. Very easy to do. And then first, you cannot get it over into reverse, so you just pull it over. Clutch uptake is really close to the top of the GR86, which lets me sit further away from the wheel, get sort of in that ideal. I'm sitting a little bit further than I normally do just because of the camera situation, but I don't feel like I have to sit so close to it because the uptake is right there at the top. This is an excellent car to learn how to drive a manual on. If you want one of these, I think within a few days you could be driving this thing. So it's that easy to do. The clutch is nice and light. When it does start taking up, you feel it almost to a fault. And then we'll talk about the gearbox a little bit. The gearbox is, a lot of folks have raved about this, and it is good. It absolutely is excellent. This is the one place where the Miata, I think, wins. The Miata is just a fluid, you know, driving experience with that gearbox. Even something like the Civic SI or the Acura Integra with the manual there, or even the Type R, Type S. But I'm not taking anything away from this. This is still really good. First to second is always a little on the rough side. Go ahead and put up the window here. And I do need some AC on, so I'm gonna have to do that. So let's see what happens there. Oh, that feels so good. All right, so why don't we just get fuel economy out of the way. So yeah, this isn't that great. For a tiny car, it has to do a lot with the gearing, this flat 4. I think it's 20 in the city, 22 overall, 28 out on the highway. I did take it out on the highway. That video should be coming out soon. And I think I got over 30. So it depends on how much you drive. You know, what's your combination of just, you know, revving it out versus just getting it out in the highway situation. It's sitting at 28.7 now, but that's with all that highway driving. Before I filled it up, I was right around 23. So I think most people are getting like 23. This does require premium, so just something else for you to keep in mind, which, you know, that's not unexpected given what you're getting out of this engine. Blinker is very, very pleasant sounding. All the chimes in here are very pleasant. So that's just another... That's just another thing about livability, is just how pleasant. All the interactions with the car are very, very pleasant. So if you got to do it on a daily basis, it's fine. Yeah, as we tool along here and get down towards our uphill dig, I do want to thank you for coming along on the ride today. We really do appreciate it. If you are one of our subscribers, mega thanks and thumbs up to you. For everybody else, please check out all of our content. If you like what you see, definitely come along for the ride. We'd love to have you. Also check out our IG over at Beyond the Test Drive. You can find a little bit more behind the scenes photos. All right, gonna do our uphill dig here. So this is a 50 mile per hour 2-lane road that's usually pretty busy. So, and this is an uphill acceleration. So let's just get her going. Hit the rev limiter, bounced off the rev limiter there. So digging out, not an issue. But if you heard that, this thing, I know it's got pumped in engine sound, and I'm not totally against that, because at most revs it sounds okay, but man, it just booms. You don't even want to rev it out that much, because that pumped in engine noise just, it's almost deafening. So I know folks disconnect that. You can take your GR86 to your dealer or your BRZ and get them to, I think through the onboard computer, they can disconnect that, which is something I would definitely have to do. Now this road we're on right here is not the smoothest, which kind of gets me to the next surprising thing about this GR86, and that's just how, yes, it's a firm ride like you would expect from a small car, but it's really, really supple. There's no harsh impacts. It feels really in control over any bumps. You know, we do have those Sachs dampers on here, so, you know, I've seen some people say that the Sachs dampers, you know, they're performance oriented, but they actually make this drive a little nicer. Like right here, yeah, it's fine. Very, very comfortable. Again, getting back to that daily driving thing, perfectly acceptable over the bumps. Now while we're tooling along and we really can't push it, I think I'd like to go ahead and get into a little bit about the engine, and that's that this engine will pull, I mean, other than down around 1500, anything above 2000, like right here in the 3 to 4, is it just pulls really, really well, which gets into sort of the cornering capability here, and that's that this thing is so surgical and clinical how well it takes corners and handles. It's like being on rails, you know, for the price tag. It's as close as you can get to being a slot car type handling. Completely flat, completely neutral, completely balanced. There's no drama at all about going around turns unless you can get some speed up, and that's really what I've had a hard time with this week. Is, you know, folks will say the Miata, the GR86, they're slow cars fast. They're fun to drive because they're slow and you can drive them fast. I have a hard time keeping this GR86, you know, at bay. This thing wants to run. You have to make, you know, you really have to be conscious of your speed in this, because to have any fun at all, especially on twisty roads, you kind of have to take them. You kind of have to take them at some speed to have any fun. So that's kind of been, that's a good problem to have, but it also takes a little bit of the drama out of the daily drive when you're just tooling along like this. All right, a little bit of 0 to 60 action in this 2024 GR86. I do have it in track mode. I'm gonna just run it up the top. I'm not gonna dump the clutch. I'm just gonna run out 2,000 or so. Oh, I hit the rev limiter right in second gear there. Oh, we gotta do that again. Not the smoothest start on my part. All right, gonna try this again. I'm just gonna leave it in regular old mode here. See if I can get a little bit of a smoother start. Stop bouncing off that limiter. All right. Only bounced once that time, so I think if I kept doing this, I'd get a little better. I think this says 5.8 seconds is what something like a Car and Driver has reported. All right, let's get it out onto some fun. Yes, this car just wants to run. You really have to hold it at bay. Like a turn like this is just no drama, not pushing it hard, but you can just, it's so good and easy. Now, is this better than the Miata? I think from just a pure performance, yes. This is very surgical, it's very clinical. I think they're both very close in the ultimate limits. You know, with a good driver, they're both going to be about the same. But yeah, this just wants to run. Coming around a turn like this, I'm not even, oh, look at it. Yeah, you just goose it on the throttle, brings it right around. Now, real quick on the steering itself, you know, Toyota should be given some credit for the fact that they can make communicative, great, quick steering without it feeling heavy at all. Even in parking, parallel parking situations, the steering is always ideal as far as the amount of muscles you got to put into it. It's very light. It's a very light feeling steering. You know, like let's just take some of the Mazdas where they're like, oh, let's just make heavy steering and that'll make it sporty. That's not the case here. It's just got a really, really nice light feel, and then you start getting that communication there. Yeah, so good steering feel, very comfortable in all situations. All right, I'll go ahead and do some hard braking. I'm not gonna slam the pedal, but I'm just gonna do some hard braking here. Let's do that again. Holy smokes, that's more than enough stopping power for just daily driving. All right, let's take it out on the highway. Now, I did do a 138 mile round trip in this the other day. That video will be coming out soon if it's not already out. And again, very, very surprising. This is very road trippable. I had no issues with spending multiple hours in this car. It does settle down on the highway, as you're going to see right here. Engine just booming. All right, get it up to speed. I do want to turn on the cruise control because down in the 6. All right, 72 is good. Okay, sound levels in here, 74 to 75 dB. I'll also put the Miata. We do have that RF we're going to compare this to, which is the hardtop. Very, very tire dependent, I would imagine. The engine itself settles down. It's at 3,000 RPMs, but it doesn't make itself known at all. Most of the road noise is coming from the back, so if you want to add some sound deadening, you could do that. Unless you're really a weight zealot for tracking, you're going to be just fine if you add a little extra back there. But yeah, this thing is really, it's not darty out here, as you can tell. Track's really straight. Visibility is phenomenal. I got the whole rear view mirror. I got big mirrors on the left. Everything is great visibility wise. Again, this is going to put this above the Miata as far as a road tripper. And this 8-speaker upgrade, I think it's 6 in the regular, 8 in this premium, actually sounds pretty good. Good enough that you'll be fine if you want to take this on a trip and listen to some music. But again, the cruise control actually is very impressive. Again, not just comparing it for a small sports car, but for a lot of it. If I just radar cruise, once I put that signal on to pass, let me get away, give the police officer a little space up here. Once I put that signal on to pass, when I come up on a slower car, it'll do its thing. It'll start accelerating right away, and you don't see that in all cruise control systems, but this one has it down. If you are questioning whether if you're concerned about whether you can truly daily this, I'm going to tell you right now, this is perfectly dailyable to me. Is that a word? Yes, put all those fears to rest. Unless you're hauling around a bunch of people or a bunch of kids, you're going to be perfectly fine living with this car on a daily basis. If you live in a northern climate, put some snow tires or all weather on here, and you're going to have even more fun. And if you do own a Miata or GR86, I'm sure you're going to want to share your opinions, and that's what we want. We want you. See, we got the regular handbrake. GR86 is easy to get out of. You do have to kind of drop into it, but getting out of it is easy. Yeah, so if you own a GR86, please weigh in. We definitely want to get the conversation started below. Again, thank you guys for coming along on the ride today. We really do appreciate it. And as always, have a great day, morning or evening, wherever you may be.